Refugees. Julia Deutsch. Period 6. Executive Branch. President John F. Kennedy signed Executive Order 11,077 in 1962. This was the first major move by the United States government since World War II. It was aimed to ease the impact of several unexpected refugees entering the United States. This was also signed during the Vietnam War. President Jimmy Carter signed Executive Order 12,208. This act created a federal refugee resettlement program to provide housing and ease refugees into society. President Obama signed an executive order in 2015, allowing at least 10,000 refugees to enter the country in the coming year. Legislative Branch. The Displaced Persons Act of 1948 was signed into law by President Harry Truman. The act aimed to help those fleeing Eastern Europe after World War II. With the passing of this act, the United States was able to grant 400,000 visas above the normal quota, according to the National Holocaust Museum. The Immigration and Nationality Act of 1965 was signed by President Johnson. This act stopped the national quota system that was in place since the 1920s. It maintained a per-country limit, but also focused on the connection between citizens and applicants. The U.S. Refugee Act of 1980 was signed by Jimmy Carter and was an amendment to the Immigration and Nationality Act and the Migration and Refugee Assistance Act. This act provided structure to the refugee policy and provided a procedure aimed for refugees with special humanitarian needs. It also provided an emergency plan for when more than 50,000 refugees entered the country. Judicial Branch. In 1980, the United States made an agreement with Haiti to seize all Haitian vessels headed for the US and return them to Haiti. The Supreme Court's ruling in the Sale vs. Haitian Centers Council stated that stopping Haitian vessels was not limited by the Immigration and Nationality Act. Immigration and Naturalization Service vs. Elias Zacharias ruling stated that Jero Jonathan Elias Zacharias had a reasonable fear of persecution and ruled against Immigration and Naturalization Services. Elias Zacharias was fleeing guerrilla warfare in his native Guatemala. When he applied for asylum, he was denied because he did not fall under the refugee category. Interest groups. ASL, American Society of International Law. This is an interest group that lobbies for human rights and refugees. They argue for both refugee and immigration reform. Media.